What's up, good people? Thanks for joining. Thanks again for joining. I just wait for a little bit more people to come on, and then I start. I hope everyone's having a good day. Sandra, Rita. What's up, Rita? I haven't heard from you in ages, yo. What's up, Alicia? All right, cool. Okay, guys. As you know, for the last couple of days, I've been on this story, Makayla. Who killed Makayla? I've been on this story. What's up, Rochelle? And I don't know. I just can't let this story go. It's just plaguing me. You know, this is one of those cases where, you know, justice needs to be served, and it's plaguing me, and I have to keep digging deeper. And I'm a damn good researcher, so. And I be digging, and I dig, and I keep finding stuff, and it's plaguing me. And so, the more I dig, the more I find, the more credibility I'm looking at things, and it's not. I don't like it. I just don't like what I see. But just to bring people up to speed, we're talking about Makayla Byers. She was killed a week and a half ago. Her husband, Frank Byers, said that he was the last person to see her. He states they have an open relationship. He states that she left with an unknown guy, white guy, in a truck, and that's all he knows. And the next thing, he went and filed a missing person report, and they found her body about, I think they said 500 yards, about a mile and a half away from the house. So that's where we are. We have not found the killer. We found the police have released information saying that these are the things that was on the search warrant. So this is where we are right now. But I have issues with, number one, the way this case is being conducted. Number two, the way the husband is going about speaking. Number three, why aren't we hearing from the parents? And I know that Makayla's family member is out there. We've heard from her son, we've heard from her sister, and I want to take this time out now to extend my offer. If there's a family member of Makayla who would like to be interviewed and come on and just want to talk about her, please feel free, inbox me. Definitely come on and we can talk about this. I've extended offers to Frank, the husband, to come on, and he has declined the offers twice. I've extended it twice. However, he's inboxed me. So, in the spirit of transparency, I know a lot of times people are saying we keep giving him a platform, but honestly, he's the only person who saw her last. And there's no alibi. There's no one other person to corroborate the story. So, we have to sometimes go off on what the person is talking, and then you have to see whether or not that's true or not, or whatever the case may be. And then again, I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm basically just giving you the facts, and I'm also using logic like you guys are doing. You guys are using your logic, you're using your heads. So anyway, he inboxed me in reference to the story, and there's a couple of questions that I had. He's been watching the lives, he's been watching your comments, but he doesn't want to come on live. He went to Fox 25, but he doesn't want to talk to me, right? So what he did, he inboxed me, and I'm going to read to you, in the spirit of transparency, what he said in the inbox on my Facebook page. All right, just want to make sure everyone sees this. It says from Frank, okay? So I just want to let you guys see this here. All right, cool. All right, so he said, hey, it's Frank Byers, just reaching out to give you some information. Okay? He said, number one, the reason why Makayla was in her own home is because she thought it would be best if she ended up bringing someone home, then I would not be bothered. And same for her. If I brought someone home, she would not be bothered. That's what he said. It's number one. See that? Number one. Okay, so as I read these, I'm going to use logic, and I want you guys to use logic and apply this to it. So, as you know, he states that Makayla and him was in an open relationship. No one else has corroborated that story. It's only him who said that. Him and I believe his friend Annie had said that they were in an open relationship, but no one on Makayla's side said that they were in an open relationship. So basically he's saying that the only reason she went to another home was because if she bought someone and ended up, he wouldn't be there and she would not be bothered for the same scenario. Okay. Frank, again, if you're in a polygamous relationship, everything is on the table. So there shouldn't be anybody getting bothered by anything because you guys have already discussed that. You stated on your video, you said that Makayla said it was none of your business. That's a problem, okay? Because it is her business. So I'm not sure why she would say that, right? So number two, he states, I don't know the reason why they were shell casings in her building. All I know is that the gun is hers. We have, let's see, what did he say? He said, we have a problem with coyotes out here, and I would hear her shoot every so often, so maybe that's how they got there. I don't know. He's responding to the fact that the police stated that they received 2 shell casings under his bed. So he's stating that I don't know why the shell casings were there in her building. All I know is that the gun is hers, meaning I guess assume they share, and they have a problem with coyotes out there, and I would hear coyotes out there and I would hear her shoot every so often, so maybe that's how they got there. I don't know. You guys be the judge of that. All right. Number 3, make sure you guys see it so I'm not lying. Number 3, and my boots did not have blood on them. Yes, long for friend did take them. They told me it was an unknown substance on them, which I work around a lot of hazard waste and chemicals due to my job. Okay, so that's number 3. Frank saying that the boots did not have blood on them. So let's talk about that. The police said the boots had blood on it. Frank said the boots did not have blood on it. Who's lying? Somebody's lying. Okay? You guys be the judge. Frank clearly says this here. His boots did not have blood on them. The search warrant said it had blood on it. Okay? Who's lying? We're adults here. We're not going to spin nothing. We're going to talk about what's facts. Somebody's lying. That's it. Okay? Number 4. Oh, there are 9 of these, by the way. Number 4. Also, I was messaging her through the night while she was gone. The last message I received from her was about 8:15 roughly that night at roughly p.m. And she told me to back off, and if she needed me, she would tell me. The reason why she stated to me is because I reached out to her to see how everything's going. And the message previously before was quite some time. I immediately went to bed after that with my phone next to me. I work up around sometimes after 1 a.m. Message her again, no response. At that time, it says, coded the message her and called her repeatedly. No response, and immediately started to get a hold of her family around 9 a.m. Okay? So he was messaging her, and she told him to back off. This is what he's saying. Okay? Remember, he's also said he's in an open relationship. Okay? This is saying to me that Makayla is not happy with Frank. Okay? We're adults. We can always use our reasonable senses. If this is what you're saying, Frank, this is saying Makayla is not happy with you. Okay? All right, number 5. He says, then me and my kids left the house around 11:30 a.m. I dropped them off with my ex-wife around 12:45 p.m. Then proceeded to go. Hold on, someone's calling. Sorry, let me do this. Do not disturb. Sorry. Let me do that right quick. All right, let me start over. He said, then me and my kids left the house around 11:30 a.m. I dropped them off to my ex-wife around 12:45 p.m. Then proceeded to go to Makayla's mom's restaurant. I got there around almost 1 p.m., stayed there to 2:05 p.m. Reached out to law enforcement in that time frame and family members on both sides when I left there at 2:45. Her mom told me to go to the hotels and Riverwind Casino Hotel, so I did to check to see if they seen her. They did not. From there, I went to head home, stopped one time for fuel, then met a sheriff at my property at 4:30 p.m. He proceeded to ask me questions. I answered them. He asked me about the living situation. I told him, walk with him to both houses. That's when I noticed it was locked, her building. I'm just reading how he wrote it. The deputy said he would come back. I told him the only one with the key to Makayla building was the I guess he's doing speech to text, was Makayla, and he left shortly then. I proceeded to call him again to come back so I could break the door handle off in order for the deputies to go inside to do what they needed to do. The rifle was found in my house, yes, but that was because Makayla kept it in her building at night. And when she walked from her home to my home, it was dark outside. She did not have that good of light, so she would have a rifle with her, and then she would leave it at my home for the whole day until she came back that evening. I'm calling a spade a spade. Something's wrong with this situation. So, this is summertime, September. This is fall time. It doesn't get dark until around 9 o'clock. Okay? Why is the gun at your house when you just said, Frank, the gun is at her house at night? Why is the gun at your house, Frank, and not at her house? So according to what you're saying, the gun would have been at her house to walk the gun down to your house at night to give it to you. So you're saying it's dark outside. From my understanding, around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's still dusk, fairly light. I'm going to move on. Number 6. But the deputies did not want to do a missing persons report and tell her she was gone, and I guess he meant until she was gone for 24 hours. I demanded wanna be done prior to 24 hours, and they were going off for 24 hours of the last time anyone heard from her. I'm reading it how it is, okay? So I don't want y'all to think I can't read. I'm reading it how it is. So I assume what he is saying is that the deputies did not want to do a missing persons report, but he forced it and demanded for them to do a missing persons report. Okay? Number 7, and law enforcement took every extra phone we had plus her laptop. They took about, I don't know how many phones he said in total because it cut off. That was old phones. I don't know. He said that was about 8 phones they took. 8. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 cell phones were taken, according to Frank. They were old phones. I don't know what was in there. They found them in a miscellaneous dresser with a bunch of random stuff in there. I assume he's responding to the search warrant that says that there were 2 phones that they discovered in his dresser drawer that had Makayla's telephone number to. So earlier today, if you was following my post, I talked about those 2 phones. To my experience, if you have, so I just want to break this down. Here's a phone. I can clone this phone to another phone number, so when one phone rings, this phone would ring at the same time. So my question was on the post was, the 2 phones that the sheriff department said they have, they said that those 2 phones came from, those 2 phones was in his dresser, and when you called them, they had Makayla's cell phone number attached to the call. So if I call this phone, I can have Makayla's number if I cloned it. So I didn't want you guys to miss that, because what it says to me is either he Bluetoothed it from iOS device, or he cloned the phone. And I'm assuming this is what he is trying to express to say that they took the phone. Number 8, the police department never asked me to do a sketch of the guy at all. They never even took my statement that same day. They were doing the search. It was a few days after they asked me to fill it out. Ladies and gentlemen, if your wife or your loved one has been shot and killed, do you wait for a police officer to say, we can do a sketch? Or do you find someone, or do you go on television, do you do a sketch yourself? Or do you try to say, this person had this person had that, we need to be out here looking for this person? Or do you wait for the police to say, hey, you want to do a sketch? Come on, let's use reason here, right? Let's just use logic. Do you wait on that? All right. The last one is number 9. He says, also, the detective stated to me in front of my attorney, when my attorney asked this question, the question was, were there any signs of evidence of someone trying to clean up something or hide something? The detective stated, no, not at all. I'm going to address this. Somebody's lying, because the detective is not going to give out all that information because they're still in an investigation. Okay? Somebody's lying. And if that detective did give out that information, that's not good if the detective did give out that information. Okay? So why would you ask that question? Did it look like somebody was trying to clean up something or trying to hide something? The detective said, not at all. Why are you asking that question? Why? Last one is number 10. He said, and also the blood that was on the bed sheets was menstrual blood, the only blood they found on her. I'm going to read it again. It says, also the blood that was on her bed sheets was menstrual blood, the only blood they found in her building, which was stated from the detective to me and my attorney, was only 3 drops of blood. Y'all come in for a second. Frank You told everybody you were in her living room. You just confessed that you was in her bedroom. You talking too much. You talking too much, bro. You told the police that you was in her living room. Now you're saying that the blood was on the sheets? How you know it was on the sheets if you weren't in the bedroom? How you know it was menstrual blood? Come on, bro. You don't have a lab. How you know it was menstrual blood? You don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just read to you what was stated to me via his message, okay? I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this. My opinion, I've been objective, but Frank has a credibility problem. He has a credibility problem. And I am going to do a plea because I believe we need to. There's a killer out there, okay? There's a killer out there. And I am saddened that this particular killer is loose, whomever this killer is. We also saw and heard that the police has over 20 other additional warrants. And they also are looking for accomplice. Accomplice, y'all. So whomever did this had help. So here's my plea. If you know anything about this case, if you know anything related to this case, do yourself a favor and call the proper authorities. Call them now. Because if you related or connected to this case, you will also get caught up in this. Now, I want you guys to think about this. Now, I don't know who's going to watch this, okay? I don't even know if the killer or their accomplice will watch this. But here's my plea. Somebody will throw you under the bus before the killer will acknowledge that it happened. So if you are linked to this situation and you help move Makayla's body, because I'm here to tell you, that person had help, whomever it is. And I'm going to go out and say it was a male. And you may want to know why I'm saying it was a male, because it was the way she was killed, and somebody had to have strength to move that body. Okay? So I'm here to tell you guys, and I'm pleading. I am digging more. There is more information coming up. There are countless people now ready to talk. And if you are an accomplice to this situation, I hope and pray somebody goes and turns themselves in and starts to talk, because Makayla's family needs justice. They need peace. Frank has a credibility problem. I'm not saying that he did it. I don't know who did it. I'm telling you, he has a credibility problem. He keep talking. You keep talking, Frank. Shut up, Frank. Because the more you talk, the more questions people are going to have. Okay? You have a credibility issue. So if you are innocent, I need you leading the charge. I need you out there looking for the killer. The squeeze is happening around everybody. I need you looking for the killer. If you are innocent, okay? That's the way I feel. And that's it. I am not trying to give anyone a platform here. I can only respond to what people are giving me. But I'm saying this to anyone who's listening right now. If you have any information about who killed Makayla, please give up that information. Please. Lori, you're absolutely right. And the body was wrapped in a carpet. We don't know where the carpet came from. We don't know if the carpet came from Makayla's house. We don't know if the carpet came from a family friend house. We don't know if the carpet came from Frank's house. Earlier today, and again, I am posting stuff based on transparency because Frank is sending me information about what happened that night. But the reason I'm saying there's a credibility issue is because I found out that he was a part of a lawsuit that ended a man's life back in 2014. He allegedly was the detention officer, detention officer of a man who had a diabetic ketosis reaction and he was denied medication. Okay, and that has been proven. I understand allegedly that Frank was one of the detention officers. If you weren't Frank, let me know, because we got a lawsuit that says that McLean County commissioners paid that family $750,000 in the settlement. So here's the problem when you start talking. The squeeze happens. Okay? When you start talking, credibility happens. Are your words credible? Because we don't see an alibi. We haven't heard of an alibi. No one else can corroborate your story. If the kids were present, has DHS brought the kids in to be interviewed by the police department? Because the kids was present. Who else was present? It's happening. And I highly advise, if Frank and his attorney are interested about his innocence, then they should lead the charge in finding the killer. Okay? They should lead the charge and find the killer. Because Makayla's family deserves that justice. And again, I'm not saying Frank is a suspect. I'm not saying anything, but I will definitely say Frank keeps saying that he's not a suspect. A police officer will let you hang yourself and tell everybody about you, and then will say you're not a suspect and watch you from afar, and then come and take all your information that you said and use against you. So I'm not saying that you're guilty. All I'm saying is that you have a credibility issue going on, because you're telling the press one thing, that you were in her living room, and you're telling me that you was in her bedroom. Okay? The sheets. They found 2 casings under her bed. 2 .22 bullet casings under her bed. She was shot twice in the head, and I believe the report said by a .22. They found a rifle. The rifle, I don't know if it was the rifle that was fired to kill her. They found it at your house, Frank. You got a credibility issue. So here's the deal. If everybody who's watching this and you guys are in that community and you guys want justice, You guys are going to have to start probing the police department in Potawatomi County. You guys are going to have to ask for the OSBI to step in and to take over this investigation, or to find out, because I'm telling you this. I'm telling you, because what Frank is saying to me, if that is true, the detective is giving out too much information to a person who was the husband. If this is true, what Frank is saying, the detective is saying too much. Why would he say these things to you, Frank? Because it will mess up his investigation. What are your thoughts? Let me go and read some of your questions, and I get off my soapbox. Okay, Alicia, you said, I didn't think that a person with the PO could be a DO. I guess you meant police officer could be a DO. No, I think he was a detention officer, allegedly. And I don't think that he was a police officer. Laura, you said he needs to remember he has the right to remain silent. Any and everything he says could be used against him in the court of law. Yeah, but honestly, a protective order, Alicia. That's what you're talking about. I didn't think a person would have had a protective order. Okay, from my understanding, from what I saw, Alicia, the protective order that he had was against the ex-wife, and that's in Cleveland County. So I don't think someone put a protective order out against him. I think he put a protective order out against the ex-wife. That's what I saw. That's the information that I read there. Okay, guys. Yeah, I got any more questions? I hope this has been good. Please share this live. I just wanted to come on here and kind of update you guys about what he sent to me. And again, I do not want this to be about bash Frank or pro Frank. I want just the truth to come out, and I'm only giving you the facts of what was given to me. I'm also wanting Makayla's side of the family, because I believe that they need to have a platform to speak, whether it's her adopted children, whether it's her sisters, whether it's her parents. You have a platform, you can come on here and you can talk about Makayla. My quest and my goal is to seek justice and to make sure Makayla can rest in peace, and that the killer is brought to justice. That's my goal. That's it. That's all I care about. That the killer and their accomplices are brought to justice. That's all I care about. And you know what? Everyone has to have their time in court. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But Frank got a credibility problem. Y'all be good. God bless. Peace.